In this video, I'd like to show you how to create an interactive H5P video based on one of the videos we already uploaded to YouTube. In creating this exercise, I will use the contents of interactive H5P book that I already have created for Module 4, Chapter 2, Section 2.1.2. I observed that many of your videos in the chapters that accompany them have the section containing questions the learner or teacher should ask themselves while watching those videos. For example, the video 14.2.2 on multilingual learner strategies has the following questions that should accompany it and should be asked during the presentation of the video. So my idea about the exercise would be, well, let's create some interactive video that stops at the moment where it is most appropriate for the learner or teacher to answer the question. Maybe as an open-ended question, maybe as a quiz question, depending on whether you can meaningfully create an exercise out of those questions. And obviously, if you feel not competent enough, then you probably should consult the author of the video to help you create a meaningful exercise with probably ready, correct answers to those questions that could be turned into a quiz question that checks itself, corrects the learner immediately after they answer this question. So I will have those questions in front of me while I work. So I go to the interactive book in the module 4. I find its source code under the cogwheel edit settings, and as you see in section 3, after you watch, you have the video that I'll try to transform into the interactive video activity. I will just scroll down to it. It's 4.2.1.2. Let's try again. Here it is. It is the first video that follows LLS that they mention, LLS that they mention. So this is exactly the video I'm looking for. Right? So I go to the YouTube icon, video sources, click it, and I can see the source, the URL that leads to YouTube where this video is embedded from. I cancel, I just copied it to the clipboard, and I now go to the end of this chapter, add content, and from among the entries in this drop-down menu, I'll select interactive video. Once it's selected, it enables me to add the video the link to which I just copied. So I paste it here and insert the video, and now I can scroll through this video and add questions from that list at the points where those questions seem to be most relevant. So I now go to the second tab, Add Interactions, and now, well, if you are the author of the video, you probably have much easier job. But if you're not the author of the video and you don't know very well its content, then you might be wondering, okay, where should I insert those questions, because those questions may be relevant at various points of this presentation, and you don't know the content of the presentation. So my idea about this, not knowing what the content of the presentation is, would be just to go to a YouTube channel where this video comes from, and it's 14.2.2 video. This is the one. Okay, now I have identified it. Now I go to the details of it, and maybe I will be able to infer where those questions should be inserted from the subtitles. I will just try to search subtitles for the content that for the concepts those questions use. So I will have in one part of my screen I will have subtitles from that video. On the other side I will have the original, or the WYSIWYG version of this interactive book, and on the right side I will have, or maybe I will say I will have the WYSIWYG form of the course on the left side with those questions I'm looking to find places for. I'll have the captions for the video. On the right side I'll have the source code for the chapter. Okay, and in the source code for the chapter I have this interactive video content. I just uploaded or linked this exercise to appropriate video from my YouTube channel and clicked the Add Interactions tab, so that I can identify the places where to put those questions. Okay, that's where we are. Okay, so the first question is about LLS, which is language learning strategies, and learner autonomy. And what is the link between the two? Searching for concept multi-word concepts is always tricky, but autonomy seems to be the key word here. So I go back to the beginning of the captions and search for autonomy. Autonomy was mentioned in the minute 1:54 seconds. I'm searching for other occurrences of autonomy, and there are none, so there is only one place where autonomy was mentioned. Okay, so it probably this question is most relevant close to the second minute, so I will scroll the video to that point. Exactly. So this way I have identified the slide where LLS and autonomy link between them is identified. So I probably should wait till this slide ends. Oh, here it is. So we have yet. So it would probably be most appropriate to ask the question about the previous slide once it's no longer displayed. So in 1:59 seconds, I'd like to insert an exercise. However, what is the link between LLS and learner autonomy seems to be an open question from those two paragraphs in the previous slide. So maybe instead of true and false question, fill in the blanks question, drag and drop question, mark the words question, drag the words question, cross roads question, navigation hotspot question, questionnaire question, free text. Oh, instead of all those questions, maybe it would be most appropriate to ask a free text question. Well, I would generally discourage you from creating free text questions, because they can't be automatically corrected. They will be sent to the teacher, who will have to manually evaluate the answers. But because I'm not a specialist on LLS and autonomy, I will just try to get away from this problem this way. Open question number 1. The question is, let's copy the question, paste it in the question itself. Open question, the title of the question is like that. Placeholder would be like that. Well, let's say this question is not required. And let's pause the video as this placeholder text is displayed and waiting for the learner to respond to. Now I click done, save and display, and let's see what will this activity look like now. We have to reload the page, go back to 2.2, and at the end of it we should find this video rendered as video activity, interactive activity. Notice that this is exactly the same video as the one that we used, the first one after this phrase LLS that they mentioned, but there is one tiny difference, namely in the activity rendition, interactive video rendition of this video, we have this tiny dot that indicates that at this point a specific question will be asked. Okay, so let's fast forward to this point, close to that point. So we see the author of the video talking about the content of this slide, and now, before they discuss the contents of the second slide, but already after the previous slide disappeared, we have open question 1. We click it, and we have the question, what is the link between LLS and learner autonomy? And we say, okay, it's complex. Answer and proceed. As you see, the learner doesn't receive any feedback. It's just that this answer was sent to the teacher for evaluation, which is fine, but not the best option. Obviously, it requires that we put some effort into answering those questions, and it prolongs the feedback. The immediate feedback is probably what we strive for in this case. Okay, so we have the first question, but how about adding some more questions here in the form that could provide immediate feedback? So I go to the source code of the video again, go to 2.2, which was where we found those 3 videos, and we annotated the first of those. So I go back again to interactions associated with this video, and we see the interaction we already added, this open question, what is the link? Okay, it's fine, but we want to add some other interactions here as well. So we find what the second question is about. How do direct strategies differ from indirect strategies? And interestingly, it is exactly the content of the second slide, where we have direct strategies, interactive strategies. So it would be maybe nice to have, when the author kind of quits discussing the content of this slide, maybe to ask a question about this table and trying to order those concepts into 2 categories. Okay, so I'm trying to identify the place with a slide about direct and indirect strategies. Okay, so this is where I think it would be most appropriate to ask about the previous slide, just after the slide was changed. So I go to, for example, drag and drop, and I entitle it drag and drop exercise 1, and we want this video to be paused so that the learner has a chance to answer it, and I will add a task. I will create 2 drop zones, one for direct and one for indirect strategies. In the meantime, I created this small table that was just the contents of the previous slide, and we have direct. Let's create a drop zone for direct strategies. We'll show the label and say done. Well, we may extend the size of this label a bit so that several answers can fit in there, and we create another drop zone for indirect strategies, and maybe we'll enable auto align. We'll do the same for the previous drop zone. We'll extend this one as well. Okay, and we have 2 drop zones into which we'll have to, well, we would like the learner to fit one of 6 categories, each of 6 strategies. So the first strategy would be memory strategy, and it may fit any of the drop zones that we designed, so we mark select all, and then we create yet another text that may fit any of the drop zones we just created. Then we create the third drop zone, the third strategy to be classified. Then we create the 4th one. Maybe I should randomize them a bit. I think automatic randomization is not enabled here. And the 6th item tile to be classified. Okay, so let's say that we will randomize them a bit. Okay, and now let's think about the feedback. The lowest range would be, let's say, 50%, from 50 to 70, and then now we can say done, and let's maybe think of a place where this would be, when this question should appear. Let's say it's in the top left corner. Drag and drop exercise 1. Okay, now save and display, and let's see if this drop down exercise works the way we'd like. That's the bottom of the page. Let's go to soon before the exercise should pop up. Let's play the video. Let's see if the slide stops. Yes, it did. Great. We select this exercise and, well, try to answer. Let's check. Okay, let's retry. Metacognitive. Not true. Metacognitive was here. Memory was here. Cognitive and compensation. Let's check. All of those were wrong. Okay, so it looks like I have not completed an important step. Let's go back to the exercise and complete this step where we indicated what are the correct answers. And interactions, and let's find the interaction we want to address. The task was okay, so when editing the drop zones, I didn't mark correct answers, so memory, cognitive and compensation is direct, and metacognitive, affective and social are indirect. Now I save and display, maybe click done and then save and display, and now let's see if the exercise works as it was supposed to. Now, memory, cognitive, and compensation. Well, let's say that I'm not 100% correct, so we should have 2 out of 6. Interesting how the points are calculated, but well, it looks like the feedback works. Memory, cognitive, and compensation. Let's check that. 5 out of 6. Memory, cognitive, and compensation. Do we have 3? We have 0. No, 3 out of 6. Okay, but well, it seems it works, but it counts as counts double misplacement, like not placing the tile in its appropriate drop zone as one error, and including it in an incorrect drop zone as yet another mistake. For this reason, if you swap 2 tiles, you lose 2 points. Okay, and this way you go back to viewing viewing the video until you find another question, another exercise. Okay, and this way you could go on with the following questions, trying to insert all of those into the activity. As a final step, I would probably remove the original video and replace it with the interactive activity video. Only remembering that those exercises can be skipped, so maybe even I should go back to, because I remember we selected optional question regarding the first one, but I don't remember if we did that for the second question, and I think it should be optional. All of those activities should be optional, so the learner who is just interested in viewing the video without any interaction has the chance to just skip all those questions. Or maybe it's not even possible. Okay, so because we definitely wouldn't want to prevent skipping forward. Okay, that would be it.